Hey everybody, so I got a comment on my Should You Pull Bradley video that mentioned that there is actually, a JP meta that sees Bradley being used without Earth units. So this was from XRB, Galadriel, hello Mysidia, I'm going to be going for Bradley, yada yada yada. But in the notices in the JP server, they're now listing the most used characters for attack and defense in the top 20 guild. And it's interesting to note that Bradley is 4th in both lists, and then Triple Dark is what occupies the rest. So he's the only Earth unit, and based on the list, there's people that are seeing mixed teams. So we can actually go look at that because they have the, the War Divisions stats.com now, which has JP guild battle information. So we can actually see exactly what's happening. So thank you to Galadriel for that comment. And here we go. This is the JP meta. Now I have it set to top 500 guilds. So, this is not the most precise information. We'll narrow it down in just a second, but what we can see here is that Sephiroth is the most used. Then we have Dark Fina, followed by Wrath. And then Helena is actually up there too. And we can see down at the bottom there, there's your usual cast of people, and Bradley's down there as well. So, whatever it is interesting. But we can go ahead and narrow this down to top 20, and all of a sudden, there it is. This is what the JP server is talking about, that Bradley is the 4th most used unit in JP, and we can see that Dialdo, the Earth tank, is not too far away. We can see that Velis is down there, that Stern, the new Stern that's coming out soon, is there as well. And so that's all very, very interesting. So we should figure out, this is attack teams, by the way. So when we go into the defense teams, it's a little bit different because setting up a defense team is a little bit trickier to do with, like an Earth unit showing or something. You definitely want your Dark unit to be shown whenever possible, but you can see that the Dark is still reigning supreme, and of course Wrath just came out, so that kind of makes sense. So what kind of Bradley teams are the JP players building? All right, so here's Bradley. We're going to check out what are people using them with in the JP server. We can scroll down to the bottom here and we can see some attack teams. So like we saw with the build video yesterday, there are some Urel, Queen Mastery, and Bradley teams. We see Queen Mastery, Oberon, Bradley teams. But what's really interesting here is the most common one is Queen Mastery, Bradley, and Dialdo. So this is using a tank. This is a tank build that allows Dialdo to take hate and maybe get healed by Mastery. But then second most used is using Velis, and Velis is an ice healer that can heal Dialdo. This defense can sustain against people, which is really important, and it consistently does that because it has a consistent healer, whereas Mastery is more of an attacker that can do some healing. So these are two very, very interesting teams that we can actually check out on attack. When we go and check out the defense, this is where it gets really interesting. That again, we still have that Mastery team that's up at the top there, but we have a Stern team. And what's really good about the Stern team is that people don't know what's behind it, but Stern has the same job category as Bradley, so he can fit in there. We also have that Velis team because, again, you don't know that they're putting Bradley and Dialdo behind Velis. It could be another composition. We're not 100% sure. But another really interesting one is Engelbert, as he also fits that composition. He also fits the light scheme for Light Stern, but he also fits that job category that we were talking about. So these are some teams that maybe we're going to see people try out in global when we get more job VCs. So a big part of what allows JP players to run Velis in their Earth compositions is this Dark Golem vision card, and it looks pretty unremarkable, but it's actually so solid because a 20 AoE resist card, as I've said many times, is very, very important. The fact that it also gives you more bulk with 8 defense and then acquired AP up, which everybody can use, is really great. And the HP up 15% makes it an interesting card too, because if you put this on your tank, they get bulkier. If you put this on your healer, they can survive more hits. Whatever you want to do, there's defense and spirit on the actual card itself, and the card has magic and attack stats on it. Not a lot of attack, but a bit of it. So this card here is pretty key to putting Velis into the team because your Earth isn't losing a beat, but your upgrading over using something like Holiday Winter Party, where you just get the AoE resist and nobody else gets anything else. So this is a really key card in that team, and Velis doesn't really need anything else. The rest of the cards can be Earth or the Sword Knight category. Like, it doesn't matter. He just needs the AoE resistance, and maybe he has a sub agility card or something that everybody can take advantage of, and otherwise he's pretty happy. So this is a really nice card, and the good news is that if somebody really likes Bradley, let's say they're a new player and they want to plan out their account, there's a way for you to really build around Bradley, and we'll take a look at that next. All right, so here's the global schedule. We're getting Bradley this week, and we are missing Lightstern, who was supposed to come out on the week with Roy Mustang, but that did not happen on the global server. So he is coming out at some point, maybe the following week in May. We'll see. But what people can do, if they are new to this game, they're new and they want to build around Bradley, you have a decision to make here. So you pull for Bradley this week. It's super exciting. And then you get Lightstern. So Lightstern is going to pair with Bradley because they are both the job type that shares that vision card, bonuses. So you pull for both of them and you instantly have a DPS partnership. Now we fast forward a little bit, and there's going to be in a little bit, where is it? Sorry, here it is. About 7 weeks away, we have Dialdo. Dialdo is that Earth tank that we were talking about. So people can then pull for Dialdo, and all of a sudden you've got Bradley, a tank for him in Earth Element, and you've got the Lightstern. And that's a pretty good chunk of saving time if Lightstern comes right away. The week after that, we get the Dark Esper. Now, I know a lot of people don't pull for Dark Espers because the pity on them is pretty savage, but still, it's an option for you. It's there if you really want to commit hard to the Bradley path, to these mixed teams, then this will be pretty essential for it. But then another thing to consider is that this week right here, this May 31st, we have a Esper Vision Card Week. Looks like that's all it is. Well, actually, that is the week that we get the Crystal Warrior rerun. So we'll take a look at that in a sec here, but we can see that's only about 4 weeks away. And here it is now highlighted on the upgrade chart. We can see here that Joom, Velis, Astrius, and Lucio, as well as Velis, are all getting, I already said Velis, are all getting their upgrades. They're getting Transcendence. It's a really nice boost for them all, and you'll have a chance to pull for them. So this brings the question up again that, should a new player be pulling for Velis right now? Because when we go back and we look at that previous list, that means that we're pulling for Bradley this week. That maybe the week after that, we're going to be pulling for the Lightstern if you really want to build that team. Then we fast forward 1, 2, 3 weeks. Velis comes out. You want to get him to complete your sustain Bradley defense team, and you pull for him here. Then we go 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks, 3 weeks, and Dialdo comes out, and now you have your tank, your healer, and you have your Bradley, right? So there's your full team. You've got Lightstern to mix it up in there. The next week you have the Dark Golem. So certainly some decisions to be made here. There's an opportunity for new players that have access to ample amounts of Visior if they clear all the story and do all the multi-quests and do all of those things, where you could build a very specific team that is seeing play in JP right now, currently. Now, Dark obviously seems to be the better play if you've pulled Sephiroth, because when Raph comes out, which is, let's go up here a little bit, not that much farther away, then they become the top 2 used units in JP. So definitely something to be considering for the future. Right, so that's it for this one. I hope it was useful. Let me know if you're planning to follow this plan, if you're going to be going for Bradley, then Lightstern. Are you going to be getting Velis if you didn't have him already? He is just such a good unit. I really do highly rate him. He's one of the best pulls I ever did. And honestly, I pulled him late. I had to do it on an expensive banner, and I have zero regrets about that. That's how good Velis is. And there's still lots of good things to come for Earth. We still have Dialdo as well. So it's kind of a bright future for someone starting out in Earth, just like for people starting out in Dark, that there's things to look forward to in the future. So lots of plans to be made, lots of hearts to be broken when you have to go to pity, or, they release a global exclusive unit, whatever it is, but still lots of fun to be had. And I hope that your pulls are good when you go for Bradley on Wednesday.